All right, 3, 2, 1. Oh, because I think he's.
That was great.
Yeah.
3, 2, 1.
Well, at least now we have an intro.
Welcome back to another episode of Toon Squad. I'm your host, Matthew, aka Easy Money, aka Mr. Borrow Your Girl, and give her back in 3 business days or 4 business days, depending on her location, aka Babyface Killer. We got a special guest in the building. One of the best, if not the best. Can I say the best?
That's big praise. I would never say that about myself, but it's up to you.
One of the best trainers in the greater Toronto area.
Thank you.
Ryan, yo, introduce yourself. You don't need no introduction.
Appreciate that. Yes, brother. Ryan.
RamboFit.
Yes, others know me as Rambo Fitness. Yes. Appreciate the hospitality. Thank you so much. What a warm welcome.
Bro.
Let's get it.
All right, shout out to Randy. He couldn't be here for this episode, but we rolling. He'll be back soon. And I got Ryan in the building. You know, we tried to get this going, and it was tough, but we're here now.
We're here.
I'm so excited. You're a personal trainer. Tell me more about your journey, because I remember you told me you were pretty big when you before you started. Like, tell me how you even got into fitness.
I was very, very big. Growing up, I was overweight. It was definitely a struggle, just trying to play around the playground, running around, always huffing and puffing. I had asthma too. It was not
Same.
tough. Even my first years in high school were not fun either. Tried to make friends. It was not a very pleasant experience. And then...
Where'd you go to high school?
So I went to Neil McNeil. It's out in Scarborough.
Nice.
Kingston and BP.
Okay.
Shout out to Neil McNeil. Yes. But yeah, early years were not the greatest just because of the weight and how I felt about myself from a self-confidence perspective. I wasn't very, talkative. I wasn't very social just because of the fact of the weight that I carried. It kind of really plagued me. And then, funny enough, the summer between grade 10 to 11, I had a growth spurt. So I went from being probably about 5'6", 5'7", to about 6'1", all in that one summer. And then so my weight spread out. I didn't really lose any weight. I just got taller. So when I went back to school, my high school experience was different. Girls started noticing me. I started talking, you just have a different experience when you're not carrying that weight. And then a few months later, because my habits didn't change, all of a sudden I got taller. I gained all my weight back. And then it made me realize the importance of the gym. One of my best friends who I grew up with, his name is Jamil, and he's been in the gym his whole life. So he'd always be taking me to Good Life in the morning, LA Fitness. He was a personal trainer. He's one of the reasons that I got started in this business.
How old were you when you started?
So we probably went to the gym, I would say I was probably about 13 or 14 years old the first time I went to an actual facility. And then watching him doing bodybuilding competitions and looking at the diet perspective at stake and the mental discipline you need to have to go through that vigorous type of routine. So after a while, I realized that the gym was definitely the component that's going to help me with that weight loss. So I started going to the gym. There was a Premier Fitness at BP in Danforth. I'd go there. I'd have a sweatsuit on. I'd go on the Stairmaster for half an hour. We'd be doing my workouts. I'd go to the gym with him in the morning. And then sooner or later, the weight would come off. But the problem with that approach is that my food habits didn't change.
Ooh.
So I'd say about a year after that, the weight came back. And then I realized that you can train as much as you want, but it's also the nutrition aspect that's critical to what you're trying to accomplish.
How much does that weigh in?
It's huge, man. We always say that quote-unquote abs are made in the kitchen. I always tell my clients that you can never out-train a bad diet. Like, there's no matter how much vigorous routines I'll put you through, you're with me for an hour. Let's say max 5 hours a week in the gym with me 5 days a week. There's a lot more hours you're spending outside of the gym. So we're talking about your sleep cycle, your water intake, how much vegetables you're having, your protein intake, your carb intake. All of those are so critical to what you're trying to accomplish. And the more clients that kind of buy in, understand that mindset, the more I see those physical changes, not just physically, but also mentally too. Because now you're in a better not only mind state, but you're in a better physical state too as well. And then you start to feel better, you start to look better, you start to be able to wear clothes you weren't able to fit in too long before, and it's just a whole different experience.
Okay, question.
Answer.
Do you have to change mentally to change physically, or have you seen people change physically without changing too much mentally?
It's a very good question. So I would say that you can change yourself physically if you don't change mentally, but you will not be able to sustain those results if the mental change does not come with it. Because you need the discipline to maintain the physique that you've gotten. Whether it's, saying no to that extra bag of chips, you're going out on the weekend, saying no to that extra glass of wine, having a strict routine during the week in terms of your sleep, going to work, making sure you're watching your water intake. So I've seen people like either they're after a breakup or they get a new birthday, not get a new birthday, they have a birthday coming up or a wedding, and all of a sudden they're bam, 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 bam in the gym. They go crazy, and then they gain this shape, and then all of a sudden the weight comes back because they didn't change their habits. They just had a short-term goal. They got to it, but they didn't change their actual habits. It's going to make them sustain it for a life longer. So with my clients, I always tell them we need to do lifestyle changes. I'm not going to sit here and take you and say, Matthew, okay, you went from eating, let's say, a bagel of cream cheese in the morning, all of a sudden eating 2 eggs, some avocado, some berries. It's not realistic. But over time, if you slowly make those changes, you're not looking at it as a lifestyle, you're not looking at it as a diet anymore. You're looking at it as a real lifestyle approach. Day-to-day habits are actually going to lead to long-term sustainable results.
Ooh, I love that. Yo, he's spitting game on Toon Squad. That's what's up. All right. No, that's real shit. And you know what? Like, yeah, I told you this before the episode, and like, you know, I think this episode is really giving you your flowers. You work really hard. You train 50 plus people. It's almost looking at 100. You're very successful in what you do. And I want to talk more about your business. Like, tell me about like your clients and what you do and the passion. Like, what makes you different?
Thank you, and thank you for that. Because a lot of my clients tell me that, and I'm like, oh, it's not about me, it's about you guys. But I also need to take a moment to recognize that, so I appreciate that.
Sir.
Thank you. My clients are amazing. They give me the ability to even sit here right now, right? I always tell people, what is a trainer without his clients? You can be in a gym standing there, but you need clients to manage your business. So they're incredible. They show up. I have a few clients that come and see me 5 days a week. One of my clients drives all the way up from Vaughan, and I'm in Scarborough.
Wow, that's really far.
Dedication.
Yeah.
So I try to tell people you don't realize how not only of a physical impact you're making on yourself, but also by showing me how dedicated you are. A lot of the times I'll wake up at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning and going to the gym, and I'm tired myself.
You don't want to wake up at that time.
Exactly, right? But if I know that I'm going there to meet somebody who's also, you know, they're not say that they're depressed, but they're looking for that motivation, that change, I thrive off of that. And sometimes I use that as motivation to kind of get myself going, because 1,000%, I always tell people, what am I without my clients? And they're amazing. They're dedicated, they're humble, they work hard, they're open to interpretation, they're open to constructive criticism. That's what it takes to change. You can't come into the gym and say that you know it all. You're there for a reason. You're there to learn. So a lot of my clients are bosses in their workplace, and they have to come there and they have to let somebody else tell them what to do. And that's hard and that's tough. So I appreciate them giving me the responsibility, and it humbles me, and I'm thankful for it.
Awesome. And, you know, just to like play on to that, like what makes you, like, obviously there's like a million trainers out there. Like what makes you different? Like what makes you unique?
It's a good question. I would say for me personally, my approach is that I've lived it myself. So for example, I have a lot of clients that say, Ryan, you don't get it. Like I work in an office, you're in a gym all the time. You have all the time that you want to work out and eat your food. And I'm like, no, I have 5 years of working corporate experience. I used to work for Sunwing, which is a luxury tour operator. I used to work for Kensington Tours, which is another travel company, Anaris. I have a lot of corporate experience under me. So I've done that life where I've worked 9 to 5 and still had to maintain my eating, eating every 3 hours, watching my water intake, everything like that as well. So I've had to do that in order to sustain as well. And I know what it's like.
Yeah, that's real. So that's amazing. And, you know, shed light on your clients. You know, you have a lot of clients. You want to shout out any of them? And, you know, what impact have they had on your life? Like I'm sure you, like, based on what you tell me right now, you have a very special connection with them.
I do. I'd say first and foremost, it's funny because some of them don't like to be named and don't like that recognition. Like I'm very active on Instagram, and some of them are like, Ryan, don't record me. I don't want to be posted on Instagram. I want to come in, I want to come out. So one of my clients, I'm not going to name him, but if he watches videos, we know who he is. He's somebody that's been with me for over 3 years. He's helped me substantially with my business in terms of not only mentoring me, but pushing me and holding me accountable, and always pushing me to be the best trainer possible. Always making me try different things. So he might come in and say, Ryan, my knee hurts. And then my whole workout program that I've created for him, I have to scrap and I have to adapt to him. Ryan, my shoulder hurts. I don't want to do that today. Let's do something else. He's given me a lot of business advice that's helped me elevate my business, given me structure, given me contacts, networking. So if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have been able to reach the business heights that I am now. And I'm thankful for it, 1,000%. Who else? Let's see. Another one of my clients, like I said, Andrea. She's one of the women that come from Vaughan, and she's coming 5 days a week. And if it wasn't for her, another few other people such as Amanda or Lauren, who are now coming to the gym consistently, would not be coming without her. So the community that we've built, other people see it and they want to buy into it, and that's what makes the business so amazing, because somebody else sees somebody else seeing results and changes. Like, I want to be a part of that. You're not only in the gym, you look like you're having fun, you look like you're wanting to be there, you look like your trainer really cares about you. You're not in it just for the money. You're actually getting results and you're building a connection. So through those people, it's helped me be able to trainer that I am. Another one, I love her to death. Her name is Antonia. She's a mom. I always say mother of 5, because she has her husband. She has 3 children. She has to take care of her father-in-law and her mother-in-law, 2 of her own parents. And she's coming to the gym.
She's the heart and soul of the family.
Heart and soul of the family, and she's coming to the gym 4 days a week at 6 o'clock in the morning.
That's hard.
So people are always
That's
like,
actually dope.
You wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, yeah, but I'm waking up because some of my other clients are also waking up too. So don't give me just credit too. I also have to give flowers to them as well.
Wow. That's actually really amazing. That actually blew me away.
And but honestly, though, shout out to all my clients, because I know there's people probably watching this and you didn't shout me out, but I love all of you, because like I said, if it wasn't for you, would not allow me to be who I am today. So shout out to all of my clients.
Absolutely. And you have a very special connection, and you built a big business where your name is really out there. You're working really hard. Again, this podcast is about giving you your flowers, and I want you to kind of let's unfold everything. Like, in terms of training, like, what are the biggest challenges that's so underrated that a lot of trainers don't necessarily communicate a lot? Like, what are some of the biggest challenges maybe early on, or even some of the biggest hurdles you've went through?
Let's start off with the consistency, in the sense of, like, I always tell people it's not easy being an independent trainer. Like, if you work for, let's say, a big box gym, they feed you clients. You come to the gym, you're training Stacy and Clemara and whatever the case may be all throughout the day. But when you work for yourself, I have to get you to trust me and trust all the results I've gotten from other people and buy into that. And to do that and to quantify that day in and day out, time in, time out, month over month is very, very hard, because we're in an extremely, extremely saturated market. You have people who are quote-unquote fitness influencers who go to the gym, they'll post the workouts. Why are you a personal trainer? Just follow what I'm doing. You have also other trainers who are also CrossFit. You're also doing an amazing job as well. I'm not the only trainer out there. And I also have to respect that too. There's a lot of competition, a lot of great trainers out there. So to be able to find people that say, you know what, I want to work with you because of what I've seen you do and the connection that you have, it's huge. But that's a big hurdle, is getting clients and then also maintaining them, because the mental health aspect is very, very unwritten. A lot of people don't talk about that. Getting up day in and day out, whether it's in the morning or in the evening, coming into the gym after a long day of work, putting in that workout in, you're also paying for it. Like, this is an investment. So the gym was already hard, waking up and doing the food, the sleep, seeing the results, all the type of stuff too as well. And on top of it, you're paying for it. Every time you go to the gym, it's not free, and that adds up over time. So that's also a balance between making people understand that the serious on this. I always tell my clients, health is wealth. You know how many millionaires in the hospital right now that we could trade to have all the money that they had just to be able to walk? If I can go down this flight of stairs, excuse my French, but it's just that's one of the biggest frustrations that I have, is that people don't understand that it's very, very hard to manage your own business. On top of that, being an entrepreneur, right? Managing your accounting, your taxes, all the type of stuff too, business registry, all the type of stuff, your website, your marketing, all that and stuff.
It's all on you.
And then maintaining your own physique. Like, even myself, I know I've gained a little bit of weight since the summer, but I'm okay with that because I know there's a cycle. I know I'm going to go up and I'm going to go down. But as long as I stay within that certain range and I don't blow up to where I was before, I was almost close to 300 pounds, like 280 pounds. So
what are you at right now?
I would say probably 228 to 230.
That's pretty good. You're really tall too.
In the summer, I'd say probably about 212, 215. So, I've gained some weight, but like I said, I know that I'm going to go up and I know I'm going to go down. As long as I don't go drastically to where I was before, and I'm watching it, I'm aware of it. The biggest things is we also lie to ourselves. I haven't gained any weight. My clothes aren't any tighter. Yes, your clothes are tighter. Yes, you gain weight. Acknowledge it. Don't be afraid of it. You know what you did to get there. You know what it takes to lose it. So just put that work and it's going to go.
Wow. A lot of game on this podcast. You mentioned the mental health part, and I want to elaborate more on that. Mental health is something that we spoke about multiple times on this podcast. And, you've trained so many different personalities, so many different, men, so many different women, and so many different people in general. What have you seen, like, outside of, like, you can even speak about your personal experience, but what have you seen the gym do for people's mental health?
I've seen people walk through those gym doors depressed, not even be able to look me in the face and saying, Ryan, look at me and be like, Ryan, I'm here today. I want to do this. And I'm like, okay, like I can sense that you're really fighting a demon in a battle in here. And then over a course amount of time, all of a sudden, Ryan, hi, how's it going? Like you see the spirit, the energy change. And for me to see that on a day-to-day basis, it's one of the reasons why I love what I do. But I can't underlie how critical it is because we just went through a pandemic, inflation, costs, etc. We're in a very critical time of our lives and generational in terms of also social media. You see all these girls posting this, and that, men shirtless pics, like it's constantly being thrown in your face. We're in a world where everything is being like sexualized and being very surgery this, BBL that, go get your body, all this type of stuff, and it's all these quick shortcuts. Nobody wants to do the actual work. And then when you're a person who's in the gym working hard and you see somebody else go get a surgery, or you see somebody else go to the gym for 1 month and they all of a sudden lost 30 pounds, it plays with your psyche and like, why can't that happen for me? And it really affects you. And I see it all the time with my clients. Ryan, look at this person. Ryan, look at this person. Ryan, look at this person. I'm like, focus on yourself. Because the only person you're really competing against is you. Ooh. The more that you get caught up with other people, the more you're gonna lose that mindset for sure.
Wow. Oh my, that was a mind-blowing answer. No, it's real because again, we live in a very clickbait generation where we just trying to see quick progress. But the truth is, when it comes to like working out and stuff, it's a long-term. It's a long, and like you said, like even with yourself, like it's a journey. You're even up and down with yourself, but but being consistent, you're not going like too high or way too low, right? So I want to shout you out again, Ryan. You're an incredible trainer, incredible human being.
Thank you.
I know you told me behind closed doors that a lot of people have invited you to podcasts, and you have declined many times, and I'm very fortunate that you were open-minded and you came on this podcast. Really means a lot. So let's get to my next question. Okay, you can speak about yourself too, because I feel like even though you speak about your clients, it's always relative to your own journey as well. What do you tell people that get demotivated?
What do I tell them to get them motivated?
No, like when you see like clients get demotivated, and you could tell like they're scaling back, like how do you like try to tell them, like without pushing them too hard?
It's a fine line. It's a very fine line because, like I said, you're dealing with mental health. And then if I call somebody out and they're not able to take it, it's like, Ryan, you're attacking me. You don't understand what's going on with my life. And to be fair, I don't. I only see you in those walls. I don't know what's happening outside of those walls. Yeah. All I know is that everything inside of that gym is going to help you prepare for everything outside of that gym, especially from the workout perspective. Because if you're going through a workout and it's tough and you feel like you want to give up and then you don't, and you go outside and you deal with, let's say, a family crisis or a work crisis, a personal crisis, you can kind of, some people do it and some people don't, but me and myself are really back to the gym and be like, okay, if I went through that, I can handle this. Like, it's not as bad as me holding a plank for 5 minutes, somebody yelling at me or somebody screaming at me. And that's just me, and that's just the way I look at it. Things could always be worse, and I kind of always relate the gym to life experiences. But going back to your original question in terms of, because I see it, a lot of people, it's very hard to stay consistent. I'll tell them that, remember, you're not doing this for a certain specific goal in the sense of like you have a birthday to fit into or a certain what I need to prepare. You're doing this for life. I work with a lot of parents. I always tell them, do you want to be a grandparent that sits in a chair and plays with your grandchild, or you want to be able to run around with them in the park? You want to have a quality of life, and that's why we're here. So that being said, I remind them of that goal, and I continuously remind them of that because people forget. Some people will lose. Let's say I've had a client come in and originally they say I want to lose 20 pounds. They lose 20 pounds. Right? It's not enough. I feel like I haven't lost everything. And I was like, you know what? If I took you to the person that you were when you first met me, and you saw that person now, they would kill to look like you right now. So just by remembering your progress and how far that you've come, to remind yourself of how much more further you need to go along the journey too as well. So I just constantly remind them about their goal.
Wow, that's really amazing. It's good that you motivate people, and I guess it's with experience too. You do find the fine line where, you're not pushing too hard, and you're translating messages in different ways. It seems like you've had different methods of communication, which is super dope, and you're feeling people out. I'm assuming you don't treat everyone the same.
No,
definitely.
that's personal training in essence. The way that I train myself would not be the way that I train you, would not be the way that I train him. Everything is different. So, and I also remember that when I used to be a supervisor, back in my corporate days, is that everybody has different trigger words in terms of how they learn.
Mm-hmm.
Some people are visual, some people are listeners. Everybody has a way to communicate and how they kind of listen. So I have to feel their personality and get a sense of like, what do I need to say as a coach to Matthew that's going to get the most out of him for him to see the best results possible. And the same way I speak to you is not going to be the same way I speak to him, and vice versa.
How many sessions can you feel that out? Like how this person works? Like, do they need a bit of pressure?
It depends on the connection, right? In the sense of like sometimes you'll hit a session off. I'll meet somebody, we'll start talking about basketball, and all of a sudden it's like, "Oh, we've been training? Are you like one of my good friends?" And then some people have had very bad experiences with personal trainers, so they're very standoffish, and it takes a little bit harder to build rapport. Some people are just not very trustworthy, and it takes time to earn their respect and their trust. So it all depends on the connection that you build. I just try my best to stay true to myself, and then we kind of build off of that. I'll adapt myself to a certain percent in terms of what they're looking for and what they want. But at the end of the day, you came to me for a reason. I'm not going to change myself completely who I am just to appease you for an hour.
Yeah, and I think that's something that it was hard at first. Like
for sure. When you start out, all you want is clients.
Seeking acceptance too, right?
Seeking acceptance not only from clients but also other members in the gym. You're the new trainer. You want that respect. You want that, that title of, okay, you deserve to be here, and that takes work. It takes a lot of sacrifice. It takes a lot of learning. It takes a lot of admitting it wrong. In terms of the way that I train people when I first started versus now is completely different. I'm a whole different person. Just the way that we do the warm-up, the stretching, the cool-down, everything, it's completely different because I'm constantly learning. The body's always changing. So the same things that I learned back then, some basics are going to stay the same. Like the push-up isn't changing, the squat isn't changing, but the techniques that we use to get ready for those movements have changed, and therefore the results now have changed too as well. But you have to adapt.
Awesome. No, that's amazing. And, it sounds like you're good at goal setting. It sounds like you have a good gauge of like creating short-term goals and long-term goals on your client based on like what they're looking for and their body types and things of that nature.
For sure.
So, let's move to a different topic. Everyone wants to know this. And you know what? A lot of people are watching this and, maybe they're in that very middle ground period of like, I want to work out. It's a good idea, but I struggle putting action behind it. Like I know I want to, and I want to for so long, but and some people are just kind of seeking a little bit of extra motivation watching this. And I wanted to ask you, like, to flip it over, like, do you think there is one specific ideal diet, or do you think it depends on each person?
I think, and it's the same approach I tell my clients what works for you. And I'll tell them this. I'll say, give me an example of a protein. So for right now, give me an example of a protein. Any protein. Doesn't matter.
Chicken.
Perfect. Give me an example of a vegetable.
Broccoli.
Give me an example of a carbohydrate.
Pasta.
Perfect. So those are things that you can all have, and those are all great for you. The problem that we have in today's society is the portion, the moderation. How much pasta is on that plate? How little broccoli is on that plate? How is that chicken cooked? You have every seasoning on your cupboard on that chicken. You have a few handful of seasonings. How is it prepared? And then how much are you having? Are you somebody that wakes up and the first thing that you have is coffee? And there's nothing wrong with coffee. The problem with coffee, though, is it kills your appetite. And all of a sudden, you're not hungry until 11, 12 o'clock. And now your body's gone into that starvation mode where you're holding on. And then you start to blow, and all of a sudden, now you have a stomach, you have a belly, and your face is starting to fill up. So I definitely do not agree and say that there's one diet for all. It's about having a healthy relationship with food and figuring out what works best for you, also based off your lifestyle. If you're somebody that works overnight, your whole food structure is going to change based off of something that works during the day. If you're somebody that works in an office, you're not going to...
Yeah, what if you're working 9 to 5? I think most people watching are working 9 to 5.
So I used to work 9 to 5, and what I would do is I would create meals for me. So I would have like a chicken, I would have sweet potato, and have some green beans, and then I have another container where I have some, let's say, extra lean ground beef. I would have some broccoli, and then I would have some basmati rice, and then I have another container of, let's say, salmon, and then another container salmon with sweet potato and with green peas. Notice all of these meals have a protein, vegetable,
yeah, it's the same
carb.
system, yeah.
The problem is that the dedication. Well, Ryan, I don't have the time for that. You have the time. What are you doing watching Netflix? What are you doing idolizing on your phone, scrolling mindlessly? Spend 2-3 hours on a Sunday, cook your meals for the week, get big containers, put it in your fridge, open it up Monday morning, scoop, you're off to work. But we don't think like that. We go to work, oh, what am I going to eat for lunch? I'm going to buy a lunch. What am I going to eat? Oh, nothing good around here. I'm just going to have takeout. I'm going to Uber Eats. And all of a sudden, you're looking now back at how much you spent in a month on groceries and Uber Eats, and it gets out of hand. And between what you spent and then also what you've incurred onto your body, you times that over time, and all of a sudden, now you're overweight.
You lost in many ways.
Many ways. So it's about, like I said, finding somewhere that works for you. Me, I can't eat solid food at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. I have a protein shake. I'll have 2 scoops of protein. I'll put some green powder in there. I'll put some beets. I'll put some kale. I'll put some spinach. I'll put some fruit. And off I go. That's my protein shake. That's enough to last me for 3 hours. And then I'll have another meal and then so on and so forth.
Okay, so, wow. So there's many diets that work.
For sure.
It's just more so about consistency. It's about the formatting of the diet. Like, are you taking the right protein? Are you taking a good portion of veggies? Are you taking a good portion of carbs? So, that's pretty good. It's all about balance.
Balance. That's what it is. 1,000%.
Yeah, balance. And you were talking about how it's a journey. It's up and down.
It is.
And okay, so my last question before we get on break. Talk to me about cheat days. How often should people be cheating? Is it once a week? Is it bi-weekly? Is it monthly?
I'm actually very happy that you brought this up because this is, again, going back to what I just said about your relationship with food. Don't look at it as a cheat day. You have to have a lifestyle meal plan. So, for example, if you want to have ice cream, have ice cream. If you want to have Chinese food, have Chinese food. If you want to have a donut, have a donut. Like we just said, moderation. How many times in the course of 7 days are you having those items versus your fibers and your healthy fats and your omegas and your protein and your vegetables? So when you look at it as a cheat day, that's when you start to call it a diet. And when you call it a diet, that's not sustainable because then you start to say, I hate what I'm eating. I want to eat whatever I want to be eating. And then all of a sudden you start to fall off.
Should you look at it as 7 days or 10 days or 30 days?
Good question. I look at it as 7 days because you're not cooking food for 30 days. And it comes back to the consistency. How often are you eating and when are you eating it? So looking at it from a 7 day span. Me, I'll make my meals on a Sunday and then I'll make them again on a Wednesday midweek because I eat 5 times a day. So there's no way, no matter how many hours I spend on Sunday, I'm going to cook enough food for an entire week all in one day. But I break it up. But don't look at it as a cheat day. Look at it as something that you're rewarding yourself, but for work that you've put in, not just because you feel like you want it and you've earned it.
Yeah, you just planted the seed for me. I'm gonna meal prep every 3 days. I think that's what throws you off too. When you're trying to do it weekly, you're never gonna cook enough for a week.
No, for sure.
You gotta do it every three days.
Talk about goals. Monday, Tuesday. Okay, cool. Now what am I eat Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, etc. Create a menu for yourself. Get creative. Have fun with it. It's all about your relationship with food.
Damn. We'll be right back. We back in this bitch. Welcome to Toon Squad. We got Ryan RamboFit in the business.
Yes,
Sorry,
sir.
I'm gonna start that again. Sorry.
We good.
Welcome back. We in this bitch. We got Ryan Rambo Fitness in this bitch. Welcome back. Yo, the sweater goes so hard. Yo,
Respects.
Tell me about the logo.
Respects. That was a journey. So 3 years ago, first off, we probably should take a step back and where did Rambo come from?
Yes, that's a better question.
In high school, my boys, they would try to pronounce my last name, which is Rambaran, but they would say bro, I'm just gonna call you Rambo, and then it stuck because I also joined the rugby team in high school, so I started playing rugby. So between the last name and on the rugby team, Rambo stuck, and then it grew. So then we fast forward a few years now, we're talking about this. I was like, okay, so I had this nickname Rambo. I went to my graphic designer, and I'm like, okay, I want to create a logo. What I'm thinking of is this Rambo character all muscled up with a bandana around him and then weights and then maybe a gun or something. And she's like, are you crazy? If you want to brand yourself and grow, and especially you having a corporate background, can you imagine you in an office giving a presentation with a cartoon character on the screen? And I was like, you're right. She's like, hey, you came to me, just how people come to you for your expertise in the gym. Let me see what I can do. And I'm like, okay, I'm not going to tell you to do your job. So she came back with a few options, and then we went back and forth, and she's like, what do you think of this one? And then I'm looking at it, and I'm like, is that a sword, or what is it? And she's like, no, it's a weight. And then I was like, oh!
That's creative. I've never seen that before, too, and it's just a simple thing, but it's it flows really well. So let me tell you guys how I met Ryan. So me and Ryan actually went to OVO. We were supposed to have lawn seats. It was a legendary YMCMB OVO concert, and instead of lawn seats, we sat with where the girls who go to Drake's house be at. So tell me, Ryan. Tell me about your music taste. Who are your favorite artists?
So I was just telling you, I like bars. Like I like real hip hop. So I'm a big fan of like Jadakiss, Nas, Biggie.
Did you like Nas' recent album?
I love King's Disease 3. I love King's Disease 3. He had one track on there. It's escaping me the name, but the whole album was fire. I love that. So even the new generation, like Dave East, which is Nas's artist. I love rap. Don't get it twisted. I obviously love Drake. I love Hometown Toronto on the weekend is incredible too. But I like rap. Like I want you to make me think. Jay-Z's great too, but Jay-Z really makes you think. Like he's not hard. It's more of like I'm gonna take you on a psychological journey with me. You need to really pay attention to these bars. So he's a love book too. But I want someone just bam, bam, bam.
Give me top 5 artists.
Outside of Jadakiss, Nas, so a lot of people hate on me when I say The Game, but I love The Game.
Fuck with The Game so heavy.
I love The Game. The Dramatic for me was huge.
Did you like Dramatic?
I love Dramatic.
Yo, you know what's crazy? I feel like he like really was like trying to prove himself on that album.
30
and, like,
for 30, man. That's all I'm saying.
I feel like people didn't give him the attention that he should have gotten.
The problem is his production. I don't know why he went with Whack 100 as his production manager. He doesn't have very good production. You don't have good production manager, you don't have good marketing, no one's going to. Just so we gave Ben his flowers. You can have incredible content, but if you don't have a way for the world to see it, in a world that's so saturated with market and Instagram and TikTok, no one's going to be able to hear it. So I just don't think he had enough marketing behind his album, in my personal opinion, too.
That's a hot take. All right, so who else after The Game? 2 more.
Bars. I said Biggie.
Wait, let me flip the question. What music do you play in the gym, and what do you see music has done for your clients and like your business? Like, do they correlate at all?
They're synonymous. They're one. You can't have. I always tell people you can't have a workout without music. At least in my opinion. Some people prefer to work out. None of my clients do, but I know there's some people in the gym and just in the fitness industry that prefer to just have silence and just it's like almost like a mental release for them, which it is for most people. But for me, I've realized how music gets people going and gets them in their routine and makes them forget about the stress at home. And just between me coaching them and giving them a positive attitude and then music blasting. So I run a boot camp class and I run it pretty consistently almost every day I'm at the gym except for Wednesdays and Sundays. And I market it as a Bacchanal class, which is like a soca class, not a reggae. As of late, I've been switching it up and playing some Spanish,
that's cool.
some hip hop.
It's diverse.
But for the most part, it's more soca and upbeat. But what I like to do is I like to give control to my client. So I'll read my client, going back to what we just said. So if I'm training a mother, I know that she's not going to want to hear yo, 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 yo at 2 o'clock in the morning. She's going to want to hear some throwbacks. So I'll go on my Apple Music, I'll put like 80s hits, and I'll play that, and then all of a sudden she's in her mood and she's working out.
Playing some Michael Jackson?
I love Michael Jackson. I'm a huge Michael Jackson fan. And then 7 a.m. the boot camp class will come in, and I'll start to play some, like I said, soca, wake them up, get them going. 8 a.m. person will come in, I'll read that person. You want to hear some hip hop? We'll play some hip hop. So it's about the client. It's about the client experience. So what do I want to hear? I play for them.
Awesome. No, that's really cool. And, you were speaking about how music is synonymous with fitness, and seems like basketball is
sure.
So you got your own music and hoop kind of vibe going on. They connect a lot with your business and what you do. And tell me, like, who are your favorite hoopers?
So I got into basketball through Dwayne Wade. Like that's my all-time favorite player. That's I love that. I remember back in 06, I was...
that's my first championship I ever witnessed.
Yes, mine too.
Grade 5.
So I was watching that, and then I remember flipping through the channels, and the basketball game came on, and I was like, whatever, I'll watch it. There's nothing else on. And this was the Game 3 game where he went off, and I think he dropped like 39 or 40-something points. And just watching him just dismantle the Mavericks, ever since then, he became my favorite player. And then I started to watch the Raptors more. I started to watch basketball more, but if it wasn't for Dwayne Wade, I wouldn't be a huge basketball fan.
Really? Wow.
For sure. So
that's awesome. So you told me that you're pretty passionate about basketball. Tell me about your story about how you play basketball a little bit.
So I play it for fun, but I'm going to be real. I'm terrible at basketball.
Okay.
And my boys will
But you're just passionate about it.
I'm passionate
you're
about
a junkie.
I love it. And also I think it's great cardio. It's a great fun thing to do. But in terms of skill level, I'm terrible. So my boys in the summer will go play pickup, right? And then we'll meet these random guys. They'll look at me like, yo, wait, I want him on our team. I'm like, yeah, take him, sure. We start playing, and I'm dribbling the ball. It goes 1 minute. I'm like, what the hell did we do? So I play it more for fun, but I'm not that very good at it. So I tried to make teams when I was younger, and it did not go well.
That's okay. That's cool. Who are some of your favorite players?
Now in this league right now, I like Donovan Mitchell because he also reminds me a lot about Dwayne Spida. Giannis Antetokounmpo is obviously up there.
Greek Freak.
Greek Freak is huge. A lot of people. I don't know why he gets so much hate, but LeBron James, King James, like
the GOAT.
What he's done to the league in terms since Jordan and the way that he's changed it, he gets my also respect. Of course, R.I.P. Kobe, the Mamba. That's huge. What other players are killing it right now? Obviously, I liked Steph Curry before he became Steph Curry. This is when he was going against the Spurs and they were trying to fight for the Western supremacy.
So before he ever won a championship.
Yeah, and then once he started to like blow up, I was like, you're a great player, but I don't like the bandwagon. Like I like underdogs. I was like, I don't like you as much because the whole world is witnessing your great talent. So
what if I fuck with your shit, I fuck with your training, I'm a big supporter, and then you blow up and I switch up on you? How do you feel about that?
It's true. I like that. You flipped on me. What I want you to do then is go find somebody else that's an up-and-coming trainer and help them get to the status that I just became.
Hey, I like that. That's how you pass it on. That's what's up. So I want to get back into the training. So again, a lot of people are watching this seeking advice and wisdom, and some people have. I think. Okay, first of all, we're fake busy. That's the truth. Like we're not actually busy. We just
1,000%.
We're just really shitty.
No time.
We're just really shitty as a human race at time management. Tell me about the people who can only work out once a week, twice a week, 3 times max, and that's on a good week, like super free. Like, how would you tell that person to work out? Should they do full body workouts every time, or should they focus on muscle groups?
It's fair. Well, I'll answer that in 2 parts. The first part is remember what you're putting into this is what you're going to get out of it. So if you're going to work out 1 day a week and you expect your body to change, you got to be real with yourself. That's 1 hour of a whole week. It's not going to happen. You can maintain a healthy quote unquote heart rate by upping your heart rate, but that's not enough. And I don't want to sit here and sit in this chair and try to promote saying that 1 day a week is okay. You need more than that. You're using your body more than 1 day a week, so why are you only giving it repairs and maintenance 1 day a week? It doesn't make sense. But in the event that you only have limited time, whether it's the case for family, whatever the case may be, definitely full body. Or also, you can also look at fine tuning. So let's say that you have a bad hip, or let's say your back always gives out in the winter, or let's say your knees. Don't take that 1, 2, 3 days a week that you have available and just go do a crazy workout. Take that for quality of life, repairing. So active mobility, stretching, doing cardio, opening up your muscles, do some of the weaker areas. So if you went to a doctor or a physiotherapist and they said, oh, your glutes are weak or your abductors are weak, go learn how to train those and get those stronger. Fine-tune your body to make it prepared for the hardships of life. That's what I would do.
Interesting. No, that's really good because I feel like a lot of people, and the people who usually start to do 5 to 7 days a week off the rip, they usually lose motivation pretty quick and they burn out. They don't find consistency.
For sure.
So, yeah, I wanted to ask you, like,
without a trainer, of course.
Okay, well, let's get into that. So, if I have no experience, like, working out, and maybe I know a friend and stuff, but it's not enough. I'm not with them. I'm not really actively going to the gym with them. Like, why would I get a trainer? Like, why should I get a trainer? Like, what's the value in it? Because, the biggest thing, and the biggest objection, and tell me if I'm wrong, it's too expensive.
It's between cost and actually I wouldn't even say it's cost, because if you understand the value and what you're paying for, cost is obsolete.
Okay, but let's speak about cost, because that's a big thing for a lot of people.
For sure. Again, I wouldn't say it's just cost, so it's also about the structure of things being in your face. So for example, you can go on YouTube and learn how to squat, how to do a workout, what's the best workout for me. And then people will either follow a fitness influencer on Instagram or somebody on TikTok or on YouTube and say, all this information out there is for free. Why am I going to go and pay you? And then I'll return to them and I'll say, okay, we're in a generation of YouTube. Why am I going to go hire a mechanic if I can go find the information online? Why am I going to hire a plumber if I can find the fix this at my house? Why am I going to find all these people? Why am I going to get a barber if I can cut my hair myself? Because you understand the value of what you're paying for. The problem is, though, when you look at fitness, you feel like it's not something that's worth paying for, so you want to do it for free on your own.
Ooh, interesting. So okay, so let's talk more about the money because you made a very valid point. I have no comeback to that, but speak about the money because obviously that's a huge part. Especially let's say I'm a student and I know like. I know I'm working my ass off.
Mm-hmm.
I know I could only like budget like $150 whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I have a low budget.
Mm-hmm.
What's the point of me putting this money in?
Mm-hmm. And I'm happy you said student because I was going to turn around you and said I've had clients that worked at Walmart and I've had clients that worked at Loblaws. And not to knock those companies off, but generally they pay minimum wage.
Yeah.
And they were still able to pay for coming to see hiring a personal trainer 3-4 times a week per month. Per week. So what is that, 12, 15 sessions? So I always tell people it's a value. But yes, if you're somebody that really is financially struggling or you're a student that has to be conscious with your money, I would do group classes. That's one of the reasons why I offer group training in the beginning is because I understood that number one, not everybody has the money to hire somebody to be with them for a full hour, time in and time out. And also number two, a lot of people don't necessarily like to work out just one person. They want to be able to vibe off other people. So I offer group classes that are also more affordable and they're a lot more cost effectively as well. So if I was me and I was a student, I would go meet a trainer. I would learn as much as I can from those sessions, and I would directly go and apply it on my own. I go to Fit for Less the next day and do a workout and come back with questions. Use the time wisely and learn as much as possible, and constantly push myself. Because I'm not in the business to handhold and help people in that perspective. I'm here to elevate you and create more knowledge, help you understand more about your body, have a better food relationship, and then take that information and run with it. You want new people to keep coming. You don't want to necessarily have somebody with you for a long term in that perspective. Not that I don't love my clients. I've had clients with me for over 1 year, 2 year, 3 years. But if you really want to help people, you want to give them the tools they need to succeed, and then they go and succeed on their own.
Wow. Okay. No, that's a really good answer. Okay, I'm gonna ask you a question, and I'm gonna challenge you right now. Okay. This is a little bit of a loaded question. I'm gonna ask you obviously, life has its ups and downs, but in your fitness journey, what's the biggest, or as a trainer, you're in your career, what is the biggest adversity that you can speak about that you faced?
Give me a little bit of specifics in terms of, let's say, my body.
Like in terms of training, like going through the personal, like whether it's like your own fitness journey or like just being a trainer and like your come up, because I'm sure you struggled at first.
For sure. Well, I interpreted the question in terms of this is how I'll answer it. So one of the biggest struggles that I found as my business took off was finding time to train for myself. Because if I'm in the gym and I walk in there at 5 o'clock in the morning, and then Matthew leaves, 6 o'clock in the morning, Ben walks in, 7 o'clock in the morning, Apu walks in, 8 o'clock in the morning, Waleed walks in, 9 a.m., 10 a.m., 11 a.m., 12 p.m. When am I supposed to have time to train? And then there was a point where my schedule was from 5 a.m. in the morning straight until 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And then I would come back in the gym from 4 o'clock and go straight till 9 o'clock.
That's a lot.
From a health perspective, I need to rest. I need to recuperate. I need to be able to reset myself to be able to maintain the vigorous work. Because it's not like I'm just selling a keyboard or a laptop. I'm also selling myself. I need to be present. I need to be coherent. I need to be engaged. And most importantly, I need to be intuitive to these sessions. Everybody's different. Everybody requires a different skill set to get their goal accomplished. So saying all that, there was a point where I wasn't working out. I was working out maybe like once or twice a month because my schedule was so crazy. I could not have time to do it. And then when I had time, I wanted to rest because I wanted to be able to prepare myself for the load. And then what I started to do was I just started to block off time. Somebody would say, Ryan, I want to come to you 8 o'clock in the morning. No, that time was blocked off for me to work out.
So you're setting boundaries.
I had to set boundaries because, obviously I was a young entrepreneur and I was doing too much. I wanted the business, I wanted the money, I wanted the success, but I was like, at what cost? And now I'm losing my body. And then I have to remember my why. Why am I this in the first place? I need to be able to help people. How can I help people if I'm not helping myself? So I had to get blocks in my schedule.
Wow. No, that's good. I think that's what we struggle, especially as young people. I think we seek acceptance, seek these goals, these big things, and sometimes we lose ourselves. We lose our mental health. We lose, you spoke about being present, right?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like something unique about a trainer is their energy.
Mm-hmm.
Their energy is contagious. You have
Mhm.
group classes. You have people who depend on your energy to get better physically and mentally.
For sure.
And you know what's crazy? Some of our previous episodes, we were speaking about how teachers are underpaid social workers. And you know what's crazy? I feel like as a trainer, you do a lot of social work too.
You have no idea.
I probably don't know the
I
half.
tell clients I'm more of a therapist than I am a trainer.
That's real. That's real. So like, tell me about both, where it's like you, them leaning on you and them trusting you and confiding in you.
For sure.
But like also like how important is being a high energy or having the right energy or being that person that gives someone a boost of energy.
It's in constant. I can't even speak. It's huge, just because of the fact that people are trusting in you with their deepest insecurities, and they're confiding in you, and then in return, they're expecting those results. And if you can't produce them at a high level, like I tell people all the time, like therapists go to school for 8 to 10 years to get their doctorates, PhDs, to sit in a room and then evaluate you on a psychic level. You come to the gym and you have these expectations of changing your body and also at the same time looking for a therapy session as well. So I need to make sure that you're getting a workout with at the same time respecting what you're telling me all within 1 hour. And then at the end of it, feel like you got a workout in. So yeah, at the beginning, it was very hard to find that balance. Now I've gotten a rhythm in it, and it's kind of like we're building rapport and we're speaking as we're going. But it was also tough as well because if you told me something very serious and then I need to turn around and be this whole new trainer for Ben, and then Ben confides in me and tells me something, a very personal traumatic experience, and you turn around and now train a pool, like it's hard. So I used to go home and I'm like, what do therapists do to unwind? Because what I'm dealing with is very, very heavy. Like people are confiding in me and stuff that you would go and see a therapist. I'm talking about like suicide, depression, anxiety, medication, overdose, topics I don't even feel comfortable talking about on camera. So dealing with all that, I went home and I'm like, how do other therapists deal with this? I did some research and just realized they set boundaries. When I leave the gym, that stays at the gym. When I'm at home, this is Ryan. Find that balance between Rambo and Ryan and not becoming intertwined and finding the separation. And that took a lot of time to find, for sure.
Damn. How do you separate it? Because like obviously if people are telling you these types of topics that it's hard to like not think about them all
For
day.
sure.
Like, do you think it's like more so like over time you mentally train yourself? Like when I'm at home, I'm just not gonna let these thoughts enter.
1,000%, because I tell myself, like, Ryan, in order for you to be that person that they feel the need to trust in you and to be that rock that they lean on, you need to make sure you're taking care of yourself. And if you don't take care of yourself, you're now in return letting these people down. So you need to look at it as this is not only self-love for you, but this is also allowing you to perform your job at a high level. So yeah, once I realized the importance of setting that boundary in that space, it's something I look forward to. But I don't take that for granted because it allows me to be who I am.
Yeah, awesome. And you know what? Like it seems like it's crazy because it's not only that like you're helping people, you're actually like saving people's lives. Like I could see it. Like you're gonna check him out on IG. You're gonna see like he's not acting like he's actually like really like I could feel the energy like you're really encouraging people. You're motivating them.
Thank you.
You're saving them, especially in the pandemic. Tell me what your experience about the pandemic and how like it's affected like your clients and how.
For sure.
Yeah, tell me more about it.
Affected all of us. Myself, like I took a step back, and then immediately when this happened, I saw a lot of trainers go on Instagram and start doing these workouts with these dumbbells, and I'm like, how many of our clients have access to dumbbells at home? Not a lot of them. So I looked around my house. I'm like, what do I have that everybody else has at home? I saw laundry. I saw baskets. I saw water cases. I'm like, okay. So if you look at my Instagram and you scroll all the way down, you'll see me doing chest presses with a water case. You'll see me doing lateral raises with detergent. You'll see me doing lunges with detergent. And I wasn't doing it so people could knock on me. I was doing it so people understood that you don't need all these things that you think you need to get a workout in. You could do it on your own body weight. But the moment that you start to say, well, I need this, I need a cable, I need dumbbells, I need space, it's too much, I'm just going to go watch Netflix, order Uber Eats, and forget about it. No, it's like you overcomplicate how easy that it really actually can be. And then after that, what I would start to do was my good friend Clinton, who also I grew up with, who's also a personal trainer, we started to do Instagram lives. So we would do an Instagram live, and we would do it weekly.
That's creative.
And we would do it, okay, guys, on Mondays we're going to do upper body. in the morning, Clinton's going to lead the class. In the evening, Ryan's going to lead the class. And then we would do classes. And then we did a program where it was like $2 a day to work out, just because we weren't trying to make money, we were trying to get people going in that routine as well. So,
Wow.
yeah, we just had to adapt. Like, I don't like being an online trainer, but I had to do it because the only way I could reach people.
Yeah, it seems like, well, it doesn't seem like, I know at this point you push yourself outside of your comfort zone. You know, you do a lot of things, whether it's marketing, whether it's running the business, whether it's training on your own. I'm sure you don't feel like your best self 24 hours, 7 days a week.
No.
I'm sure like a majority of that time you don't feel your best self.
For sure. And my clients can see that some days too. That's why I feed off of them.
I think anyone who's still watching this at this point has received a lot of motivation, and you know they're ready to, like, you know, they're thinking about their own lives and how they can make impacts on their lives. And I think the biggest thing is we get lazy at times, or we get times.
And not to cut you off, but it goes hand in hand with what you said with motivation and lazy. I don't like to tell people about motivation because it wears off. That's why I talked about habits and discipline, because that's consistent. That's going to give you long-term results. You can be motivated today, and then tomorrow you might get some bad news. All of a sudden, you become demotivated. But if you have discipline, no matter what happens, you're still going to wake up in the morning and brush your teeth because you're disciplined to do that. Just because you got some bad news does not mean you're not going to take a shower. It does not mean you're not going to do these things that take care of yourself. Hygiene, right? So that's discipline. Those are habits that are instilled into you. When you have motivation, that wears off. That's why I tell people discipline.
That's real. You know what? Let's go deeper on that. I actually wanted to speak about that, the discipline. Like, how do you, like, what's your journey with discipline, and how can other people take from your viewpoints on discipline?
It's funny you say that because, I mean, now it's so popular with work from home, especially with the pandemic. But back, so I'm 29. When I was 21, 8-9 years ago, I was at swimming, and then they were starting to do entry level, like work from home, to the point my supervisor was like, you should go do that. And I was like, I don't think I would be disciplined enough to sit at home and focus on my work when I have like my Xbox or my computer or my TV right there. I wouldn't be able to stay focused. I need to come here. And this is when I was living in the East End, traveling all the way to the airport.
Oh, wow.
And I wasn't taking a car, but I knew that I needed to be in that environment in order to be conductive and get my job done. But now, being an entrepreneur, managing my own business, there was no customer service department, there was no HR department, there was no marketing department, there was no sales department. I'm all of those things. So if there's one day I don't feel like doing something, none of those things are going to get done. So being an entrepreneur, it's forced me to be disciplined. It's forced me to instill habits, just to have a nature of my business, just for the bare survival of my business.
Okay, so that becomes a lot. How do you, like, you know, I'm sure there's times where you're like, I don't have the energy right now to train this client, or I don't have the energy right now to post this extra content on my free time and all this stuff. Like, what drives you?
I think the biggest thing that drives me is not only remembering where I come from and where I want to go, but also looking at the alternative. If I say, you know what, I don't want to train this client, I want to go home, I also need to remember the point where I had no clients. And that Ryan at that time would have killed for one person to invest into me.
I feel that too. I feel
so
that now.
I'm going to turn around and be like, you know what, I'm too good, quote unquote, to take your money. No. I don't care how tired I am. I made a commitment to do this session. We're going to get it done.
Wow. That's amazing.
It's real.
It's real. No, it's incredible that you know, you've pushed yourself this far. You've trained so many people. You've saved lives, impacted lives, strengthened people. And again, like you said, like old Ryan wouldn't see himself coming on a podcast today,
for sure,
going through all that journey up until today.
For sure. It's a very surreal moment just to be sitting here right now.
And it's 100%. Crazy. I'm sure your clients are gonna watch this, but also there's gonna be a whole lot of people who are probably having some fitness issues, or you know, they're half-assing their shit. There's no way everyone who's watching this is going to be like living a full healthy lifestyle, and you are giving people opportunities to get to know you in a different way. You know, sometimes with the training, it's all about the training, and people want to know the personality behind the trainer, what he's all about.
For sure. And that's why I post my clients more than myself, because I tell them, like, you need to get a sense of the community and what you're coming into. That's what. And you built
a community, a sense of community, a sense of people that, like, maybe you found clients who are pushing each other outside of you.
They are
in the group classes and stuff.
There's two girls. Their name is Shanika and Chelsea. So we'll do a whole group class together for a full hour, very intense. And then one of them will go into Stairmaster, the other one will go to the other Stairmaster gym, and they'll talk to each other, bless each other. And I'm sitting there watching and training my other clients, like, I love this, because this is what a community is about. Two other clients, Orly and Andrea, did that the other day after a group class. So like I said, I'm pushing these guys to the limit. And after that, like, you know what? I love coming here so much. I love meeting you. I love creating this connection. Let's go and do more work together because we're on this journey together. So that's huge. This Friday, I'm actually hosting my first fundraiser. It's going to be a client Christmas party, and I'm asking all my clients, all I'm asking them to bring is either a perishable food item, a toy, or either clothing to donate. So I'm very fortunate. One of my clients works with the city of Toronto, and he manages all their shelters from a security standpoint. So I know firsthand that all the donations received are going to go directly to the people that need it the most.
Wow, that's amazing. I love that. That's real. So that it's a big impact. Like, and your client, you're making a big impact on the greater community with your clients, which is so creative. And if there's one thing that you want to take away from Ryan, and something that I personally take away, is that Ryan spends his whole life trying to be the best version of himself, seeking the highest version of himself, and it's okay not to feel like that most of the time.
For sure, I made 1,000 mistakes. I know I'll make 1,000 more, but as long as I keep learning from them, that's how you're going to keep growing.
Yes, sir.
So thank you for that.
RamboFit in the building. Thank you so much.
You've
been an incredible guest.
Appreciate it.
Hopefully we have you on again in the future.
Absolutely.
To let us know about your progress.
Yes.
And love, bro. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Yes, sir.
Toon Squad, we out.